everybody, it's your girl Sharp Boogie, and I'm here with my good friend and guitar player Robert Herrington. He is not new to Atlanta, but he may be new to some of you. We're here today to introduce him to some of you guys and to let you guys know that he has been working in the lab on his first EP. It's called Tales of an Electric Man, Suite 1. We'll start off this conversation with giving Robert a chance to introduce himself, talk a little bit about what he's done here in the city, and then we're going to talk a little bit about his EP and the first track, my personal favorite, Talks Podcast. So, Robert, let the people know a little bit about who you are, how long you've been in Atlanta, and where you've played at in the past.
Okay, well, just want to say thanks to everybody out there who's watching. So thankful to be out here in virtual space with you guys. It's always a pleasure. So I'm Robert Herrington, and I don't think too much about myself. I'm pretty humble. I'm just a guy. So I moved here to Atlanta in 2015, where I met this wonderful person here, and we've been friends for a while since then. And so I have my own jazz trio. It's called the RH Trio, named after myself, Robert Herrington. And we played in several venues around Atlanta, notably Vista Vibes over in Tucker, and then Copeland's, and then Elliott Street Pub, and a few other locations. But we also have done several private events for art galleries, really all types of things. So I always live in the present, so I don't think about it too much. But I have a lot of fun in this city, and I'm working on my first project here, or should I say it's work on, and it's going to be great. We're doing Talks Podcast. So.
Well, speaking of Talks Podcast, actually tell me a little bit about the goal behind the concept. 'Cause I know when we've talked before, you said that because of the pandemic, there wasn't a lot going on. Like a lot of the shows dried up. So it was really a matter of just sitting down, focusing on creating your own music. Mm-hmm. So you had to write it, create it, produce it, assemble it by yourself. Tell me a little bit about about the goal around that project.
Well, it was really interesting. With the pandemic happening, and you said it very well, Charlotte, everything shifted. And so I was working on another project I have. We're going to drop that right now. So Classic Tales from the Electric Man, that's coming soon. But anyway, and so I was like, well, I'm not going to be able to get that one off the ground as fast with everything shutting down. So I was like, I see a lot of musicians, notably younger musicians, creating a lot of their own art with just a laptop and a few other tools. And so I wanted to challenge myself to do the same thing.
Right.
And that was it. I was like, I want to see if I can produce, record, compose, all that stuff in my first record and see how it comes out. And I liked it. If I didn't like it, I wouldn't release it. I don't think it's perfect, but nothing in life is, and that's why it is perfect. It's kind of cool like that.
It is really cool like that. It is really cool like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, one of the reasons that I wanted to do this interview with Robert is because I love every track on the album that he's put together. He would play little pieces of it here and there, and one of the things he talked about was that he's recording using loops, but he's also bringing in some of his friends who are musicians to play over some of these tracks, and it sounds really, really good. So tell me a little bit about the vibe. What vibe were you going for?
So this is what's really cool about this project. It takes a lot of things that I've studied, of course, in college and in the music scene in general. It takes from rock and roll, from jazz, from gospel, from, of course, R&B. And I kind of just do my own thing with it. But I was really inspired by a guitarist named Tom Misch, a UK guitarist who does a lot of interesting things with loops, and it just makes brilliant music. And so he's been one of my biggest influences as of late, and I was like, I want to do a project similar. And so the vibe is really chill hop with a jazz influence mostly, but of course jazz is an amalgamation of things in its current state, right? So you got all those other things that pull from the Black American tradition, as far as of course the Black global tradition as well. So coming together in this, and the songs are fun songs. That's what I really like about it. It's not the serious jazz tone that most people associate me with. When they see me live, they're like, oh, that guy's playing Wayne Shorter and all this kind of stuff. But this is more of the fun side that I've been wanting to share with people. And so it's going to come across in a more modern context, and that's why the EP is called Modern Tales military man.
Whew. What he said about it being fun. So the first song, Talks Podcast, is easily a track that you could put on and just let it play for hours and hours. Like, it's just, that one song just puts me into a very relaxed, very just all is good with the world. Yeah, there's a pandemic going on, but I'm cool. I'm cool. That's the kind of mindset that puts me in. And most of you guys know, like, I'm a hardcore, straight ahead jazz fan. Like, I love music. I love the jazz community, but I've kind of have my affinity to certain types of music. But I would have to say that this EP, and specifically really the first release, it just really changed my mind, or it just exposed me to how music, you can transform something that has its roots in African American culture and jazz, and put your own spin on it and make it evolve into something that's a reflection upon you, and can change a whole person's concept of what music can do. So I love the track. I want you guys to make sure you click on the link so that you can hear it. He may put a link in the comments. One of the things we talked about before was, you said you wanted to produce music with limited use of your contacts. So tell me a little bit about who were some of the people that played on the album, and then we're going to close out this conversation with talking specifically about Talks Podcast. So who were some of the people that played on the album with you? Okay,
well, notably we got Tyrone Jackson, of course, one of the most brilliant keyboardists in town. Tyrone, hello. We have Chris Otts on saxophone. We have Zach Wilson on keys. And then we have Melody, who is a great singer from KSU, by the way. So those are the musicians that I've used on this. So it's really not a lot of people.
Socially distant sessions.
And it's very slight, like, stuff, like, they're just sprinkled here and there, you know. And nothing was recorded in the same room. And I actually wanted it that way, just to see what I could do as a producer. See, how could I manipulate this and put things in different places, and really work with what people gave me. You know, sometimes I think producers can be really strict and say, I need this now and here, and, you know, there's a time for that. But then there's another type of creativity where this person gave me this, now what can I do with it? Where can I put it into the song and still make the song musical? And so, like I said, this is a playful concept. You know, it's definitely not, you know, Beethoven's Fifth Symphony. And it's meant to be fun and relaxed, and people to enjoy playing their cars and party.
It's good. I have to say it's good. This track, this EP is Sharp Boogie approved. Absolutely love it. So the songs on the track are Talks Podcast, Trap Montgomery, Friday, and Love Letter. And he has a story behind the creation of each one of these songs. But for time, let's talk specifically about Talks Podcast. What was the concept there? Tell us the story behind that one.
So, Talk, if you're out there, you have been a big help to making this entire project happen. So, Boogie, the main thing was, I needed to make a recording studio. So Talk had actually contracted me to make some music for him. And as you know, I've written music tons of times. And so I drafted some music, but I wasn't able to get into the studio. And so I said, it's time for me to make my own home studio. And so I started doing that. And then I was making some music for Talk, but Talk had gotten some music already for his podcast by the time I got my studio together. And so I was like, this song is really good. I think I'm going to use this for something else. And so that's how that happened. So that's why it's actually called Talks Podcast, because it was meant for that, but it didn't materialize. And then it just kind of stuck. I was like, I could name something, you know, Breezy Beach Life or whatever. But I think Talks Podcast is such a unique name for a song anyway. I was like, you're not going to find it anywhere else. So it's like, it's good to be unique and, you know, be yourself. So I like to tell my life with my song.
I heard that. Well, guys, that is all the time we have for today. Make sure you go to his website. Let the people know what your website is.
All right, so that is rhmusic.pb studio. So you can find my music there and all other content related to me.
All right. And definitely check out the EP. The first release is going to be August the 6th.
Yes.
Talks Podcast. He was saying that the name Talks Podcast stuck with him. The song stuck with me. The song stuck with me. Too bad we can't play a little bit of it now, just so you can hear a smidgen, so that song can take us home. Maybe we can. Let's see.
Oh, there it is.
There it is. I don't know if you guys can hear that or not. But this is how the song starts off. And with that, we're gonna call it a day. Thank you so much for joining me today, Robert.
Thank you for having me, Charlotte.
You're welcome. I really enjoyed this. All right, you guys, make sure you check Robert out. Check out his music, and support the artists here in Atlanta because they're the ones that keep the vibe going. All right.
Awesome. Thank you.
Peace. You're welcome.